a busy life? Is it ambitious and fully booked with things you want or have to do? Does it make you feel good when everything goes according to plan? Now you're in a bad mood when it doesn't, like my slides right now. Do you like to have everything under control? Well, normally I do, but something happened to me a couple of years ago that changed my view on life completely. So, me and my husband at the time went on this spontaneous hitchhiking trip. We lived busy lives. 2 young children, demanding jobs, and we were in for a bit of fun. Curious if someone would give us a ride. Now we don't look like students anymore. And someone did. This Moroccan guy gave us a ride. Now, I don't meet many Moroccan guys in my life. They are well outside my daily bubble. I mostly read negative things about them in the newspaper. But during this trip, we opened up to one another. We shared things. He made me see things through his eyes. And I found that so incredibly valuable. This opening up to one another would not have happened if I met him in the street or at a party. And I knew it had everything to do with the setting we were in. We were strangers in this small microcosm-like space, and we had to make the best of the trip. I started thinking, why doesn't anybody hitchhike anymore? Because it has so much more to give than simply getting from A to B. And could one hitchhike these days? And could I, for instance, hitchhike to my work at this academic hospital? So, to find the answer to that question, I just did one day. I walked to this bus stop, and instead of waiting for the bus to come, I held up a sign, and I caught a ride. And it was so simple, easy, and fun to do that I kept doing it every Wednesday for more than 2 years. And it made me so happy. The encounters with all those different people, from surgeon to truck driver. I met lawyers, students, teachers, nurses, photographers, forest rangers, mothers with little children. I met people from Turkey, Poland, Yemen, Afghanistan. People on the way to their cancer treatment. A man on his way to the delivery of his baby. And I even got invited to an Arabic wedding. And this was all just on my way to work. It enriched my worldview in such a positive and fantastic way. Talking to strangers does something to you. And there's now even scientific proof that talking to strangers makes you more happy. They did this experiment at this large global coffee company where people waiting in line had to talk to one another. And the people who did speak to one another reported more happy feelings afterwards than the people who didn't. Talking to a stranger can have this magical effect on your mood. The theory behind it is that you put on your happy face when talking to a stranger, no matter what mood you're in beforehand. And this has an effect on you for the rest of your day. But meeting strangers was not the only thing that got me so hooked. Hitchhiking has a lot of life lessons in it you wouldn't guess beforehand. I had to go out of my comfort zone doing this, for instance. Certainly in the beginning. There you are, standing at the side of the road, people thinking things about you. Positive, negative, people looking at you. You're really in full view, plain sight. I learned to accept what people think about me. I knew very well what I was doing there at the side of the road. I believed in this, and I stood up for it, and that gave me strength. Another thing I learned was something we all find sometimes so hard to do: ask for help. And I really even didn't need the help. I could take the bus. I even had a car. I learned it's okay to ask for help when it's not really that urgent, while in normal life I would wait until my limit was far reached before I asked someone for something. I learned there is an abundance of nice, sweet people willing to help you. You just sometimes have to have the guts to ask. And make no mistake, I gave something back. I listened to them with an open mind and an open heart. I gave them the opportunity to help someone and feel good about that. I gave them a nice story to tell. I gave them a nice interruption in their daily routine. I gave them a smile on their face. But the thing that made me most happy about this whole adventure was something else. It was letting go of the control you think you have in life. I did not know if I would be picked up, by who, how long I would have to wait, or what would happen. No clue. I just walked to my hitchhiking spot and really tried to go with the flow that was there for me. To have faith in what came my way. I'll give you an example. So one day this car pulls over and the driver could drop me off at this point that was really not that smart to do. I still had to walk like 15, 20 minutes to get to my workplace. But I still felt I had to take his offer, so I did. And we got to the point where he could drop me off, and that was literally the end of the road. There were roadblocks all over. We couldn't go any further. This whole area was just shut down. So I got out, I thanked him, and I said to myself, look, this is a beautiful day. Sun is shining, the birds are singing, just enjoy the walk. So I started walking, and I get to the end of the street. And suddenly this car pulls over, and I was like so surprised to even see a car there. And the driver rolls down his window, and he makes contact with me, and then he asks me, I'm quite lost. Do you know the way to the academic hospital? And I was like, yes, I do. 5 minutes later, I was at my workplace. Hitchhiking is such a beautiful metaphor for life. Make your goal, your destination known to the universe, and then let it go, and have faith in what comes your way. Let happen what the universe wants to happen. Now, there are many spiritual movements that swear by this law, and I trained myself in it every Wednesday. And it changed my life for the better. Nowadays, when I find myself in a hurry or try to force something too much, I stop myself and reflect on it. And this gives me time and space to allow me to consider other ideas or alternatives. And sometimes I just do nothing. It made me curious to what life has got in store for me instead of trying to push life a certain direction. Sometimes you just have to give the universe a chance, and it will surprise you. Thank you.